Hi everyone, it's Kylie. Just to give you some background information, the blended learning method that I decided to implement is the flipped classroom, and then during class we'll be doing the station rotation. In my rotation, there is actually going to be three different stations. One station will be with the teacher, the other station will be collaboration with a small group of 5 or 6 students, and then in the back here it will be designated for independent learning. They can either sit at desks or there will be beanbag chairs or flexible seating available if they choose to sit there. The way that I envision this working is that for the first station, a teacher will be with a group of students that usually tend to struggle for the first 10 minutes, while another group of students are collaborating together to work on an activity. And then in the back here, we have the rest of the class working independently. After the first 10 minutes is over, the teacher will simply switch. The students stay exactly where they are to kind of eliminate some of the traffic jams that can be associated with changing stations in a classroom. So the first station, there will be no movement in between the first and the second station. The students that were working in the back still are continuing to work independently for another 10 minutes, while the group that was collaborating now is working with the teacher, and the group that was with the teacher is now working on a group activity. This is where the transition will happen in between the second and third rotation. So all of the students that were up front are now in the back working on an independent assignment for the next two stations, so for the last 20 minutes of class. And then this will basically repeat. The teacher will work with a group of students that came from the back of the room, and the other students that came from the back of the room will now be working on an assignment together, collaborating. And finally, the last station is going to be where the teacher just switches. So again, there's no movement for the students, but the teacher changes from the one group in the front to the other group. Because I was trying to make this realistic for my current classroom, there are some limitations, such as the projector needs to stay where it is to be projected onto the smart board. I have it labeled whiteboard, but it is also a smart board. And also where the door location is. I would actually prefer for the independent station and the two stations up front to be switched to kind of prevent some of that distraction that the students may have in the independent station with the door being right there. But again, because I'm trying to make this as realistic as I can for my current classroom, those are some things that I just can't change as of right now. As of right now, I have a pretty open floor plan. I know one of the articles that we read did mention creating nooks for some of the stations. However, I feel as though for the model that I'm trying to incorporate, the open floor plan will work best. And then in the other article, it did say to make sure that you have a clear view of your students, and I think sometimes creating a nook or little places for students to almost hide is hard to manage, especially if the teacher is being involved in a station such that I have with my design. One last thing I would like to incorporate in my classroom design that I wasn't really able to show is an idea that was mentioned in chapter 7 of Blended. A math teacher from Ohio named Tommy Dwyer covered his walls in plexiglass. I think this would be really cool, especially for a blended learning classroom that incorporates technology, because oftentimes students will come across a problem that work needs to be shown for, and they don't have a piece of scrap paper or anything to write on. So I think that Tommy Dwyer's idea would really help solve this issue. Hopefully this design works as well as I'm envisioning it to, but I am looking forward to receiving some feedback and seeing everyone else's ideas. Thanks.